On NewsTeam Boulder, student government elections have wrapped up with a higher than normal voter turnout.
And the Colorado government has big decisions to be made on occupancy laws in the state.
Then we speak to the head of a club that's getting local musicians into the music scene.
That's all to come here on NewsTeam Boulder.
Hello and welcome to NewsTeam Boulder here in the heart of the University of Colorado. I'm Sarah Grimm.
And I'm Ben Armendariz.
The polls are closed for this spring's student government election and the preliminary results are out, but there's still a lot to process. NewsTeam Boulder's Emma Leek tells us more about the spring election.
This election was competitive, with openings for tri-executive positions and representative at-large positions on the ballot. The people behind the scenes of this process are the CU Student Government, or CUSG Election Commission.
It's a very important process, and we made every effort to ensure that it went well this semester.
And it did go well, despite some small snags with QR codes and food deliveries. But one of the most notable parts of the election was the voter turnout.
We took numerous approaches just to try and engage the student body in this election, and I feel like we did a pretty good job of that this semester.
In 2020, the CUSG election had the lowest voter turnout in a decade, with only around 5% of students voting, or roughly 1,600 students in a university with over 30,000. 2023 had the second lowest turnout in a decade. This year, the Election Commission made efforts to increase those numbers.
Just making sure we're present, whether that's through digital advertising, paper advertising, polling stations throughout campus during election week.
And these efforts paid off as the number of voters more than doubled from the previous election. The voter turnout was over 3,700 people. That was definitely an increase from previous years, but still only 11% of the student body. That'd be the equivalent of this room capacity being filled with only this many people. The Election Commission is still looking to improve these numbers for the next semester.
I definitely always think there's room to improve. I definitely think in the future 11% we don't want that to be our ultimate goal. We want to keep on improving.
As one of the most independent and well-funded student governments in the country, one of the ways to encourage students might be to remind them of CUSG's purpose.
If you want to make a change in your community, participating in CUSG is the quickest and best way to do that.
As for this election, the preliminary results are out, but the finalized results won't be ready until the infraction tribunals are completed, which will be done by the end of April. For NewsTeam Boulder, this is Emma Leek.
The elections are held every semester. If you're not graduating, make sure to keep an eye out for the next election season in the fall and have your voice heard.
Although this year saw higher voter turnout than usual, still a very small percent of the student body voted. NewsTeam correspondent Gabby Connell went out to speak with students about their voting experience.
Did you participate in the CU student government election?
I did not.
If you didn't vote, why didn't you, and what would get you to vote in the future?
I just didn't really know anything about it. I saw like a couple posts on the CU story, but at the end of the day, like I didn't really know what it was about. So I guess if I, just in the future, probably like more so on myself, like just look into it. I think there was okay representation about it. I just need to put some effort into actually looking into it. So.
Did you participate in the CU student government election?
Unfortunately not.
If you didn't vote, what would get you to vote in the future?
More awareness.
Did you participate in the CU student government election?
Yes, I did.
What is the most important thing to you when voting?
I think I definitely want to learn more about who I'm voting for and what they stand for.
Did you participate in the student government election?
I did not.
Why didn't you vote, and what would get you to vote in the future?
I feel that there wasn't enough representation of what it was about and kind of how to vote and where to go and things like that. And so that's kind of why I didn't vote, and I didn't really know anything about it.
Did you participate in the CU student government election?
I did not.
If you didn't vote, why didn't you vote and what would get you to vote in the future?
I didn't really know a lot about it, and I just kind of kept getting emails and I didn't feel like reading them. Maybe if there were posters, if I saw more people posted outside with tables, I would probably vote.
The CU student government posted election results Monday morning, and the Excel ticket ended up winning the student body nomination. With 55% of the vote, the team comprised of Grace Convey, Alex Rads, and Tyler Rowan will oversee what the university calls one of the most autonomous student governments in the nation. They are responsible for allocating over $34 million in student fees.
The school year is wrapping up, and for many, so are housing leases, and a recent bill proposed could change the way people look for housing. Stick around for more.
Searching for housing is a struggle every college student goes through, and housing laws for the city of Boulder have only made things more difficult. The current housing situation does not allow for more than 5 unrelated people to live in a single house, depending on where you live. But a recent proposed bill is looking to change that. NewsTeam correspondent Yvonne Olivas has more.
Within the next few weeks, Colorado Governor Jared Polis is expecting a bill on his desk. It will determine if cities like Boulder can set their own occupancy limits, or if that right is gone forever. The Prohibit Residential Occupancy Bill restricts the city from enforcing limits based on familial relationships. However, this doesn't help one group of Boulder residents frustrated with the housing crisis.
I can't really afford the $7 grand to live here in Boulder.
College students like Martin Munoz struggle to pay for rent and choose to commute from another city instead. Others feel frustration that the occupancy limit in Boulder is 5 unrelated people under one roof.
I know a lot of people that have to sneak in extra roommates because they have rooms, but they can't technically fill them.
The city loosened the occupancy limit last year from 3 to 4 people in one home to 5 people. Carl Geiler, senior policy advisor for the city of Boulder, says less strict limits could help make living in Boulder more affordable.
It would enable, landlords to be able to rent out to more people. So that does bring up some concerns, obviously, from crowding too many people in a space, but it also is going to open up a lot of places where people can live safely.
The city is considering allowing different builds, such as duplexes, within single-family home zones due to a high demand but low supply of housing in the city, which causes the prices to skyrocket.
I came to Boulder almost 20 years ago, and it was super expensive back then, and it's much more now. So it's legitimately a housing crisis now.
Geiler says the city council will most likely adopt the Prohibit Residential Occupancy Limits bill, setting a trend to lower the cost of living. He says the largest and quickest way college students and other residents can make an impact is to get involved.
Every voice, can make a difference in city government. I work with this city council. They're really all ears.
For NewsTeam Boulder, I'm Yvonne Olivas.
Governor Polis has yet to sign the bill prohibiting residential occupancy limits, but political analysts expect him to sign it, leading it to become a law.
Going from one large decision to another, power cuts during last week's powerful winds resulted in some expensive losses. NewsTeam's Dakota Makinen is here to tell us more.
During last weekend's windstorm, Xcel Energy cut power to thousands of customers. The power was cut deliberately to mitigate fire danger from downed power lines. Although the outages were frustrating to some, the loss of power was devastating to those in the restaurant industry. On a typical Saturday night in Boulder, local restaurants earn about $10,000 in dinner sales and have a long list of reservations. Boulder County restaurants are still recovering from unexpected closures and loss of revenue. While some food was saved with the help of refrigerated trucks, a great deal of food didn't make it. The short notice of the outage led to food spoilage, lost wages for staff, and restaurants such as Black Belly, Frosca, and Pizzeria Alberico losing anywhere between $35,000 and $55,000. Similarly, the Louisville Food Bank Community Food Share lost 2,000 pounds of food as they had to throw away prepared meals, milk, and cheese. Affected business owners went on record with local news outlets and expressed their frustration with Excel's communication of the outage. They would like more notice in the future. Community Food Share is working to ensure they can meet the anticipated demand from residents for mobile food pantries.
As of Wednesday, power has been restored to 95% of buildings who experienced an outage, with the rest expected to come back today.
Coming up next, Brennan Carley takes us through this week's weather and ski report.
How's it going, Buffs? Happy Thursday. I'm Brendan Carley with your weekly weather report. Today's forecast promises abundant sunshine with clear skies throughout the day. As we take a look into our 7-day forecast, we should expect clear skies and warm weather the entire weekend. Friday, the high will be 75 with a low of 52. Saturday, there will be a high of 76 but a low of 48. And Sunday, the temperature reaches a high of 78. As next week rolls around, the sunshine disappears. Even though Monday has a high of 66, it will be cloudy for most of the day. Tuesday's high of 67 brings a little bit of sunshine, but it will mostly be cloudy as well. Wednesday will be cold as we see the high drop all the way down to 59 and the low to 33. And Thursday it will be even colder as the high only reaches up to 48. Buffs, summer is coming and we will be getting a taste of that this weekend. Be sure to be outside and wear some sunscreen because the UV index will be getting all the way up to an 8 Friday and Sunday. Being outside offers so many benefits for both physical and mental well-being. Exposure to natural light stimulates the production of vitamin D in the body, essential for bone health, immune function, and mood regulation. Fresh air contains higher oxygen levels, improving respiratory health and overall energy. Make sure you get some time to get out and enjoy the sun. As we take a look into our ski report, Keystone is closed, but we will still be able to enjoy Eldora, Arapahoe Basin, Echo Mountain, Loveland, Vail, and Winter Park. Eldora is the only mountain that has gotten snow in the last 24 hours with 2 inches. That's all for the weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
As we near the end of the school year, it's about that time for seniors to pick up their cap and gowns. We have more information on how and where to get them next.
The season of spring means new beginnings, and CU Boulder's upcoming commencement ceremony is just that. NewsTeam correspondent Madeline Heath headed to the bookstore to see when and where upcoming graduates need to get their graduation gear.
Before the memorable moments of graduation, like tossing mortar boards into the air, moving the tassel over, and becoming a forever buff, you must first purchase regalia.
We sell all the graduation regalia for undergraduate students, and graduate students will have to rent their cap, gown, tassel, and all that stuff. Undergraduates will have to come in and buy at least the cap, gown, and tassel for their respective school.
And with commencement just around the corner on Thursday, May 9th with guest speaker Steve Wozniak, it's time to stock up on all things graduation regalia. Although online orders have already closed, you can still pop into the basement of the UMC at the CU bookstore to get things like your gown and your cap. And don't forget to check what your school's color is, like CMCI's is red, to get the proper tassel and stole.
With spring break just a few weeks ago, and finals coming up, it's easy to get busy and forget things, so don't worry, you do still have time.
But we will be selling everything right up through graduation, so although it's best to get the stuff early, they can buy it the day of.
After graduation season, consider donating your regalia for another student to use. Drop off your caps and gowns at the Environmental Center located in room 355 of the University Memorial Center. Congratulations, Buffs of 2024. This is Madeline Heath, NewsTeam Boulder.
Hats off to the class of 2024. We'll see you at Folsom Field on Thursday, May 9th.
But before seniors walk for graduation next Thursday, the CU Music Industry Club has their senior showcase concert. Our Summer Algebori met with the club president for more.
Good morning, Buffs. I'm Summer Algebori, and today we're joined by a very special guest in the studio, Miranda Shawan, the president of the CU Music Industry Club. Hi, Miranda, and thank you so much for being here with us. What would you like to tell us about your club?
First of all, thank you for having me, Summer. Music Industry Club, as we often call it, MIC for short, is a club here on CU Boulder's campus. We're affiliated with the business school, but we're open to all students. Our main thing is that we have our own record label that we've created called Big Table Records. So we have CU Boulder students here that are officially like assigned to it per se. And so we as a club go through the process of putting on a show for them. So they get to see what it's like from start to finish of how you execute a show. And so it's like what it's like to contact a venue, where we want to perform, who's going to perform, all those essential questions. We also do typical club related things of having guest speakers in the music industry. We tour local recording studios or concert venues. And we did something cool this semester of having our own like little NPR Tiny Desk concert.
That's incredible. That must have taken a lot of work putting that together.
Oh, it was a time for sure.
Yeah. And what would you say is the impact of the club on the campus?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just the fact that it's like open to anyone and everyone. So whether you're a performer and you want to get your music out there for the world to see, or maybe you want to work in the music business industry like someone like myself, or if you just really love music, it's an opportunity to explore that and be with people who have that similar passion.
I'm really glad that you're running this club, even though I know you're not the person who created it. I'm happy you're continuing this legacy on campus. And we really appreciate you being here on campus. And one last question is, do you feel like you have succeeded in fulfilling the purpose of the club when it was first created 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's a 10 years, happy 10-year birthday or whatever anniversary you want to call it. It's been really exciting to just kind of like continue on that journey and create our own record label and kind of make it our own throughout our time here.
Incredible. Thank you so much for being here in the studio. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Buffs, and we're going back to you in the studio.
Before we go, some breaking news from this morning. O.J. Simpson has died from prostate cancer at age 76. His family announced his passing on social media. They said he was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. The former NFL star and broadcaster's athletic achievements brought him fame and fortune, but as CNN's Stephanie Elam reports, they were eclipsed by his 1995 acquittal in the brutal killings of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. The several run-ins with the law afterward also added to this.
O.J. Simpson soared to fame as number 32 for the Buffalo Bills.
I'm sorry for all of it.
And plummeted to infamy as inmate number 1027820 in the Nevada Department of Corrections. In between, Simpson led a life filled with more surreal drama than all of his various film and TV projects combined.
O.J., are you a suspect? Come on, come on.
Mass media experts say Simpson's sensational televised low-speed chase,
I have O.J. in the car.
arrest and murder trial
Doesn't fit, you must acquit.
stand as the first reality show, and perhaps the greatest three-ring television phenomenon ever. At one point, the world heard O.J. Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, say,
I don't want to stay on the line, he's going to beat the shit. Wait a minute.
Then later, Simpson was charged with the horrific murders by knife of Nicole and her friend Ron Goldman.
Ron and Nicole were butchered.
The trial made lawyers and even witnesses household names.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
When the jury freed Simpson, celebration erupted in parts of Los Angeles. But Simpson would never recapture his idol status. Simpson first sprinted into the national spotlight as the Heisman Trophy-winning running back at the University of Southern California. Then 11 spectacular years with the NFL vaulted him to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Simpson cashed in on the popularity. Go, OJ, go! Becoming a pitchman for Hertz and an actor. Becoming well known for the Naked Gun movies.
O.J. Simpson, as you've never seen him before.
Simpson played a lawman on screen and ran into trouble with the courts off-screen. He lost the multi-million-dollar wrongful death suit brought by the families of his ex-wife and Ron Goldman, then moved to Florida. In 2000, Simpson was accused of assault in a road rage incident in Miami. He was found not guilty. In 2005, he was found guilty and fined for stealing satellite television. Then in 2007 in Las Vegas, police arrested him on several felony charges, including kidnapping and armed robbery. In that case, Simpson and armed accomplices raided a hotel room in what he called an attempt to just get back some of his stolen belongings.
And I didn't know I was doing anything illegal. I thought I was confronting friends and retrieving my property.
The Nevada jury never bought his story and instead sent him to prison. He was released on parole 9 years later in the dead of night with no fanfare and no bright future. Just the distinction of arguably the greatest rise and fall in pop culture history.
That is all we have for you today here on this morning's episode of News Team Boulder. I'm Sarah Grimm.
Make sure you guys tune in next Tuesday for more from News Team Boulder. I'm Ben Armendariz. Oh, we forgot the
Dang it!
God damn it!